Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. TGIF. Weekend is here. So as you guys come in, please drop into the chat hi and where you are tuning in from. Also, congrats to all of those that made their post on LinkedIn. Congratulations. It's awesome. Um, and as we have been doing all this week, I always like starting with some gratitude. So when you guys get a chance, hop into the chat and let's share one thing that we are grateful for today. For me, grateful to be going to the Phillies game tomorrow, down in Baltimore with my dad and my wife. It's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't been to an away game in a really long time. Um, you know, Phillies didn't look too good up in Boston. Hopefully they can do better in Baltimore. So that is my gratitude for today. Also, drop into the chat what's been your biggest takeaway so far from this week? And again, we did cover a lot. Obviously the beginning stages of optimizing your profile, the beginning stages of building your network, messaging, content, all that stuff. And I do want to just be very open and transparent with all of you guys that we haven't scratched the surface yet. And I just want everyone to realize that, part of why I love doing these workshops is because, well, number one, I love connecting with people. That's number one. Number two, I like raising attention and awareness around what is possible with LinkedIn. And what I will say is this: we talked a little bit about the levels of LinkedIn, and this workshop and what we've learned, some of the core principles, I will say will get you started. But if you're that person that really wants that significant transformation, meaning you're looking to 5x, 10x, drop a Y or a yes if you don't want to just 1x, you want to 5x, 10x where you are. And I just know that there's so many of you that want more, and you can have more. And there were a bunch of questions that got pre-submitted, so I am going to cover the 20-minute routine. Obviously, I'm going to go answer as many of the questions as I can. And also, there's a special guest that actually is here. She'll be popping out to say hi in about 20 minutes. Her name is Courtney. Courtney's been a dear friend of mine. We've actually known each other before spouses, before kids, a different phase of our life. We've been personally working together for the last few months, and and she'll tell you she's that prototypical person that didn't really know much of how to really leverage LinkedIn. And she's been having just huge win after huge win, and she actually wanted to share that with you guys. Also, I think I saw Gary on here. Pennington, you hear Gary? Gary, if you can unmute really quickly. So Gary, this is the first time we've interacted and met during the workshop, and he jumped into the group coaching program, which I'm so grateful to have him on board now. Gary, if you could, share with everyone that's on here today. Obviously, you're learning just like they are. What was the big needle mover for you to say, what, this has been great, but I do want that customized help? But also, if you could quantify for people that maybe are sitting on the fence, whether they're going to go the DIY route or the done with you, done for you, like you're doing with me, what's your message to those people?
Well, I've been a LinkedIn user for a while, but not a professional one by any means, more of a means of gathering information, learning things. I'm a constant learner, but not really to make connections. Just began that process, I guess, this year, and I've tried it on my own, but I've not really had any success with it at all. So even the simple direction that I've received this week has really opened my eyes to the possibilities of what can be. And just some of the things I posted in the chat section, like the bookend method of what to post and when to post, and the group posting and those things, and how many connection requests to send out a week, and how to harvest those the next day. Are there warm leads? I didn't even realize this. I went back and looked at my sent box. I had 1,000 unanswered.
Unex- I've been there. I've been there.
So I spent 2 hours withdrawing them all. And so I've started over, and I've started narrowing my searches to what I think right now is my avatar, my target audience. But that's one thing I really haven't nailed down. But I took your advice today, and I did a post this morning, and I got over, I know we're not counting numbers,
Right.
over 1,000
Impressions.
impressions, maybe 10 comments, and 7 reposts.
Awesome. It's amazing. So what's your message to the people that are
Yes.
considering the next step, and what can you leave them with as far as, not, again, a lot can happen in a small amount of time, and obviously
Right.
having a couple paths to go down. What's your message to those people?
I think that, LinkedIn is an evolving network every day, every month, every year. And, static information is not going to get you to where you really could be with your full potential. And that we all really need the in-depth coaching, one-on-one or in the group setting, in the smaller group, to really, take advantage of the knowledge that you have, and the ever-changing landscape of how to work properly within the platform, because really that's the only way you're going to get the most out of it.
Awesome. Well, Gary, I just want to thank you for, I know I put you on the spot, but for
That's
stepping out and
okay.
saying
I'm
hi.
used to it.
And just really looking forward to, again, as Christy said, over the next 6 months working together, in the 12 weeks of the live coaching and all the replays and everything else. And really excited, to be working with you. So thank you for stepping out and saying hi.
Thank you.
So again, Gary's one of our new members. Obviously, there's other people that have come in as well, but I really wanted to kind of have him share the big reason why behind that. And, for everybody else, again, if you're still undecided, I would say, on what route you want to go, you can always grab a time on my calendar. I do have spots available to talk later today and on Monday, obviously before the doors close at 9 p.m. So you'll find the link to my calendar in the chat if you guys want to set up a call, because some people aren't sure what they need. Do they need, DIY? Do they need, the done with you? And just to, let you guys know, and I just want to kind of get ahead of this first before we go into the training, because I had multiple people fill out questions. They were actually 3 or 4 duplicates, and a lot of them had to do with like the difference between the DIY and the done for you, done with you. The DIY is someone that's maybe earlier in their path of business and understanding LinkedIn, and they're kind of just getting started. So they want to kind of, get it right the first time, and just systematize the process. But also, you may be on a little bit tighter of a budget, and, you're ramping up your business. So the monetary means may not be there right now, which in all honesty is a lot of people in business right now. And that's okay, but you have to understand the ROI. So this is what I kind of wanted to clarify with you guys, whether it is the DIY where you kind of self-pace yourself through it. The DIY course takes about 3 hours to complete. You can run through it as many times as you want. You still get the LinkedIn checklist to make sure that you're doing all those things. And obviously the done with you is I'm working directly with each person. So you're not going to have to figure it out on your own. You're going to get the customization of your profile, your messaging, expanding on your content. And there are so many other nuances of things that you can do. You guys learned just one strategy of how to generate leads. There's actually 5 that I teach. So you want to talk about unpacking and having multiple layers of opportunity. So, the done for you is people that really understand the power of moving in a streamlined direction, but having an expert to show them exactly what needs to be done and having it done the right way the first time. So there's really no bad place to start, but people always talk about the ROI. So if you think about your offerings, right? So, and I'm just going to use an example. I'm going to use Nancy as an example. So Nancy, in the agency that she runs, the value of a client for her is $1,000 a month. So when a client comes on board with her, they pay her $1,000 a month. So if she was going to do the DIY course, just as an example, she would literally have to close one person and she would make her money back. And then obviously it's reoccurring revenue past that. If Nancy was to close 10 clients, that's $10,000 a month of reoccurring revenue. Even if someone did the done with you, done for you group coaching, again, that's at a different price point. But if you think about the value of a client, that's where you can start to put the pieces together as far as where it's going to take you in your business. So I really wanted you guys to really get clear and understand that, yeah, if you do need to have a conversation and talk about, okay, what's going to be the best fit, just to do it myself or for you to do it with me and for me, jump on my calendar. A conversation can never hurt, but I also don't want you guys to stop here. I really want you guys to continue learning because so many of you have been to this workshop before. It's not your first rodeo here, but there's a reason why people continue to come back over and over again. And it's either two reasons. Number one, you forgot about some of the things that you had to do, or number two, you're still just kind of piecemealing it together and you're hoping for one more thing. And that's why these workshops are so powerful because yes, they do teach you so much. I mean, so much, but there's always another layer. And think about all of the people that you guys work with, right? Think about all of the clients that you're looking to work with and how much you express to them, what it is that you do and, really how you help people move the needle of what they offer. So just drop in the chat really quickly. What's your main offering right now? Are you a coach? Are you a consultant? Are you a service-based business? What's the offering that you have for the marketplace? Drop it into the chat. Service-based. So this is the thing. Does anyone know the main obstacle that keeps people from achieving their creative potential? If you know the answer or you want to throw a guess in there, throw it in the chat. What do you think the main obstacle is that keeps people? So Jackie says time. Okay. Anybody? Consistency, limiting belief, consistency, fear, don't get out of our own way, themselves, action. So the answer is resistance. So have any of you read the book, The War of Art? I believe it's Stephen Pressfield. If you haven't read that book, read the book. Because the internal force that impedes our ability to create, achieve goals, and realize our true potential is resistance. So everything that you guys mentioned, ourselves, fear, it's all resistance. It's our limiting belief. So if we allow our limiting beliefs, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. So those are all what we call false narratives. They become our truth. So it's just changing the story. Everyone experiences resistance, and it's called the war of art. It's an internal conflict, a self-generated barrier that appears as procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and a lack of focus. So everything that you guys mentioned is resistance. So the question that you need to ask yourselves is, am I going to allow myself to repeat the pattern? So drop a Y or a yes if you want to stop repeating your patterns. One of the best things that you can do to stop repeating your patterns is to do something that you usually don't. So maybe your usual MO is you go to workshops and you try to learn as much as you can and then try to apply, and then hopefully it works. Maybe that's your typical MO. And maybe most of the time, it doesn't work. But maybe the change that needs to be made is making that investment in yourself, in something that you need. So type the word agree in the chat if you could agree that you need more sales, you need more leads, and you need a system. So that's what you're getting with me. If you need a lead gen and a sales strategy and you want to break down the walls of resistance and you want to lean in, like I said, it doesn't matter what path you choose, whether it's the DIY, do it yourself, or you do it with me and I do it for you in the group program. Well, not only are you making that necessary investment in yourself, but you're breaking down those barriers. You're letting go of the resistance. And don't forget, resistance is fueled by fear. The greater the potential impact of your work or change, the greater the resistance. So just think about that for a second. Every single one of you, and you can just type a Y or a yes, every single one of you wants to grow your business in some way, shape, or form. Now, do I have permission to be a little bit, I don't want to say unhinged, but like a little bit explicit? Just drop a Y or a yes if I have permission. Okay. So the fact of the matter is, it's fueled by fear, right? The greatest and the potential impact of our work or change. So if we continue to literally repeat the same patterns over and over again, we have to get out of our own ways. Remember what I said to you guys earlier in the week, fear is your friend, right? When you resist things, it convinces you to abandon your goals. And I know many of you on here right now have been in the same place in your business month in, year in, year out for like the last few months, last few years, and you're frustrated. So the money's not showing up, the money's not growing, so you don't want to make any more investments. But you have to do the opposite, because when you can acknowledge that what I need is more sales, more leads, I need a system, I need structure, I need accountability, I need help, I need to work with an expert. Well, I'm your answer. I check those boxes and allow you to break those walls of resistance. And it's also a barrier for personal growth. If you allow your patterns to repeat, you're stopping yourself from growing, which means you're stopping your business from growing. If that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And honestly, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, just make a change. And I'm just being very honest and very truthful. I love each and every one of you, and I want the best for you, but I can't want it more than you do. Nancy and I always talk about something called the 51-49 rule. You have to want it 51% for yourself. I have to want it 49% for you. And right now, I may want it 51% for you, and you may want it 49% for yourself, which guess what happens? That wall of resistance is still there. And what's the likelihood of something changing in your business? Unlikely. I want to change that unlikely to likely. And that's why this system is here. So how do you overcome all of this? You have to adopt what is called an expert mindset. Do you guys know the difference between the amateur and expert mindset? Just drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no. So this is in the war of art. So just to let you guys know, the amateur mindset succumbs to resistance. The expert mindset learns how to overcome it by making difficult decisions that lead to a greater result. The amateur mindset are uncommitted, right? The expert mindset is committed and treats their work seriously. So something that I did years ago is I looked myself in the mirror and I asked myself, am I serious or am I curious? Am I curious to grow my business, or am I serious about growing my business? Because people that are curious about growing their business, no matter what the means are, the first business coach I ever hired, which was completely out of my monetary spectrum, I had to call my bank to get an advance. I had to expand the amount I was allowed to spend because I had a daily limit. But I was serious. I was serious about my goals, and I knew that I needed to work with an expert to get to that next phase. Now, the other thing is that amateurs are discouraged by failure and quit. But experts, failure is a part of the process and you need to learn from it. You know, the expert is consistent, persistent, does the work that needs to get done and does not make any excuses. I challenge myself every single day. And I challenge Nancy too. And I always reflect on the narratives that are flowing through my mind. You know, am I going to continue to allow these false narratives to negatively impact my life? Or am I going to shift the narrative by making new decisions? You know, back in 2019, Nancy and I made a $35,000 investment in a mastermind that has paid itself off many times over, still to this day. It was the scariest investment that I ever made, but I knew it had to get done because Nancy said to me, she goes, you have to stop playing small, and you're playing small. And that didn't feel good, meaning I appreciated her honesty with me. I appreciate her honesty, but she was right. I was playing small. So if you're sitting there right now and you feel like you're playing small, you can make a decision today that puts you in that spectrum of playing big. And if you are ready to play big, type the word me in the chat. Now, what we're going to be going over today really quickly is your 20-minute routine. And before I do that, I told you that I had a guest. Courtney, if you can unmute really, really quickly and just say hi, just so I know that you're in here. I think you're on your phone.
No, I'm actually, can you hear me okay? I'm on
Oh yeah, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Christy.
So this is Courtney Sholnick. We've known each other for, God, well over 20 years now, which is crazy to think about. So Court, just really quick, I know you've had some personal wins and just share people, but before we started working together, what would you say your knowledge was of how to leverage LinkedIn?
On a scale from 1 to 10,
Sure.
a 1 to 2 at
Okay.
best.
So, and again, we've been kind of working together for, months now, but how quickly did you find the 20-minute routine that I take everybody through and that you're going through? How easy was it for you to adopt some of the core principles that we went over?
Very easy. And I'm someone who I'm very regimented. And if you give me, or if you work with me to create a schedule that feels practical and attainable, then I execute. And what is so great about what you and Nancy did for me and so many of the people in our cohort is you helped me, and I'm sure others, but personalize something where it's a routine that is attainable, that you can easily, for me, it's early in the morning, first thing, kind of checking off all the boxes. And for me, that was really a game changer.
And your business has grown. You've actually closed contracts using LinkedIn. But recently, and this is why I wanted you to come on here, you just started a podcast. We helped you get that started and you started promoting it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
As far as your episodes. So share with the audience, because your podcast is only five episodes deep. What happened by leveraging our strategy of how to leverage LinkedIn with the podcast? Share everybody what actually happened on the back end of that.
Okay. So really, it's sort of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable at first. Like I have Facebook and Instagram, and I'll put pictures. I have three small children, and I'll put pictures that way, but don't really feel comfortable putting myself so much out there. But through the program that you helped me create in terms of the methodological approach to LinkedIn, with like Mondays doing some type of video and then Wednesdays doing some type of inspirational post, Fridays doing an article, I really started to slowly push myself beyond my comfort zone. And that was a great thing because I started to get attention. I started to grow with the practices that you taught on LinkedIn. I started to expand my network, get more attention on what it is I was posting and sharing. So fast forward to through LinkedIn and through making connections with people who are aligned with what I'm doing or in a similar industry, I connected with someone who is an executive life coach, and she and I had a Zoom call, and we really hit it off. We found out that the work that I do, teaching mindfulness, and what she's doing really complement one another. We were just sort of having a very organic conversation, and the conversation flowed so easily, woven into that between our family, juggling a family and being a professional. We figured, why not sort of spin this into a podcast? And so we did. And even that, like, I feel like I've had someone to hold my hand and guide me through the process, because if you would have told me at the beginning of the program that at X date, I think, not even 3/4 of the way through the program, that I was going to have a newsletter and a podcast, I would have laughed, because I don't even think I knew where to go to create those
And
things.
I would say the biggest thing from that is what you shared with us, is that, because you took some of your content from the podcast and you started working that into your customized content routine on LinkedIn, someone that listened to the podcast after you posted about it reached out to you, and you actually acquired a client from it.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. Just this past week, someone who had been following what I was posting, the content on LinkedIn, and then got to know me a little bit more on a deeper level through the podcast. There was sort of a comfort there, and she reached out, and we had one or two Zoom calls, and so I signed her, or she signed up with me to be my first one-on-one client. And
Amazing.
we'll just sort of step back even a bit more, like before the podcast, just having all of the content and sort of being able to display that I'm an expert in the field. Someone was looking to add to what they offer in their business, a mindfulness instructor, and he did a search on mindfulness I'm in the Philadelphia area, and he saw Jefferson, the Center for Mindfulness, saw that I was an instructor there. And what he did was he found my website, but then cross-referenced it. What really sealed the deal is he was able to see all of the videos, the articles, and rather than just sort of clump me in with any other mindfulness teacher, he really got to understand what I'm about and my teaching style. So I just a few months ago, I signed a contract to be working with him for his company.
Amazing.
So two really big
And in a very short amount of time too. Very short amount of time.
And simple in terms of expectations. Just what I love is that given the demands of my other job and balancing a family, that it's all been, if it overwhelmed me, I probably would have said this is too much and walked away, but it's all been very practical in how I've been able to dive in and really get great results.
Well, I appreciate you popping on and sharing those two huge wins. But before you go, if you could summarize how you feel about, just in one word, how you feel about the system now that you have in place from what I personally taught you, compared to being a 1 out of 10 in the very beginning. What's one word that comes to mind with what you're doing now on LinkedIn?
I would say, I want to say 2 words, but one word: opportunity. I mean, this program has opened me up to opportunities that I don't know that I otherwise would have come into. If I did, I think just because it helps you take accountability, and you make your dreams become a reality that much faster. So I don't know that it would have happened as sooner. So I would say opportunity.
I love that. That's a great way to finish. And Courtney, always grateful for you and everything that you're accomplishing. And again, you're doing the do. You've taken exactly what I've taught you to do on there. You've asked questions throughout the whole process, and the results speak for themselves. So I just want to say congrats again on everything, and just so appreciate you just for popping on here. I know you're at work and you wanted to pop on here, but thank you again for being here.
My pleasure. I'm 100 times more grateful for you and Nancy, and I assure all of you that you're in very, very good hands.
Thank you, Court. So if everybody could just say thank you to Courtney really quickly in the chat. Again, she's a lawyer. She's a mindfulness teacher. She's a mother. She's a wife, many hats. And she was, happy to take some time out of her day to be here with us. So let's jump in because we do have some questions to go through as well. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate to you kind of like this 20-minute a day routine. And, just to let everybody know, it may not take you 20 minutes a day. I mean, again, there are multifaceted things, and I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of that. But what I always suggest for people to do is I'm big in that farmer mentality. So the best, time to do what's necessary on LinkedIn is first thing in the morning. I like to set aside like 30 minutes, 20 minutes in the morning, like 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8, whatever it is. And I do all those things. And, I block out that 20 to 30 minutes a day, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, whatever it is. When it's written down, it gets done. And when you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So if it's written down, it's going to get done. And remember, you're a farmer, you're not a hunter. So you're looking to plant the seeds, and Courtney's a prime example of that. She just interjected. So she's like, I'm starting a podcast. How do I work that into my LinkedIn routine? I gave her a custom plan of what she needs to get done. And she's only 5 episodes deep, which means that's 5 episodes a week apart in 5 weeks of using her podcast as part of her content strategy on LinkedIn, which I helped her with. She already acquired a client from that. So I don't know about you guys, but I would love to have a new client in like 5 weeks. So again, that's also what's possible. Now, here's the 20-minute a day flow. So again, you've already been doing this. It's sending out your highly targeted connection requests for the day, properly messaging any of the new people that accepted from the day before, and then providing your one piece of thought-provoking content or educational information in the form of a post, an article, a video, and then again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, again, those are some of the beginning things. Will this move the needle of your business forward? Yes, it'll start to move the needle, but these are the bare bones, right? And, Courtney was that person that really wanted to kind of take things to that next level. So a couple bonus things that you can do is using some of the automated messages. So I actually have a whole structure and routine in the DIY course, but also in the group coaching program about how to leverage the automated messages to generate additional leads per week. But also I have a whole gratitude message structure that goes along with your content creation routine, whether it's following the content creation routine in the DIY course or the done with you, done for you group coaching. So these are 2 other additional lead gen strategies. Now, there is another one that goes off of your LinkedIn polls. And then there's an additional one that goes off of your LinkedIn newsletter. So there's actually 4 additional simplistic and easy to follow lead gen routines. Now, the other thing is that I always tell people to take a deep dive to look at the analytics of your posts and your profile to see, who's viewing your profile from an analytic point of view. Look at the impressions of your post, who's engaging. So again, there are multiple layers of things that you can add to your 20-minute a day routine. It's that one thing. If this is the honest to God truth, if you were, and I'm not talking out of my butt right now. I'm actually speaking from my heart. If you were to never use Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok again, and you went all in with LinkedIn, your business would skyrocket. Because in all honesty, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram become distractions. And the fact is that we don't need more distractions. We need more action. So if all of you were just to use LinkedIn, whether it's the DIY course or my group coaching 12-week program, and you go all in with it, and Jane wants to go all in, so I'm ready to go all in with her. The fact is that your business you would be so less distracted. And I know that You will find me on other platforms, but they're not my main focus at all. LinkedIn is my number one focus, and it will continue to be. Now, just to kind of run through kind of like the ways that you can get blocked, and then we're going to get to some Q&A. So again, make sure that you're sending connection requests to the right people. Don't spray and pray, because people will start to ignore your connection requests, which will trigger LinkedIn to look at your account. Again, do not go over the 100 requests per week, or your account will get restricted. Again, make sure that you delete those requests that Gary was talking about. Like he said, he found 1,000. I had like 3,000 unaccepted at one point. So anything that's 3 weeks or older, get rid of it. Make sure that you're not using software that connects and messages for you that violates the user agreement. And make sure that you don't have anyone else log in as you from a different IP address or even with a VPN blocker. If LinkedIn tracks that, finds it, they'll delete your account. If you're using the free account on LinkedIn, again, make sure that you stick to that 12 to 15 searches per month or 2 to 3 searches per week. And do not attach connection notes to messages that you send to people that you do not know, because people are now ignoring those, which is triggering even more accounts to get restricted. So I just wanted to kind of just lay out a little bit those specific things that you do want to do and you don't want to do. So again, you have that basic 20-minute a day routine, your connections, your messages, your content, but don't forget, there are 4 additional lead gen strategies that you're going to learn in the DIY course or the Done For You group coaching program. Plus, every single person, whether you're in the DIY course or the Done With You, Done For You group coaching, you get this beautiful Microsoft Excel downloadable checklist that actually gives you your daily order of operation of everything that needs to be done, like literally a tracker, connection tracker, content tracker, daily activities, all the nurturing, all the things that you actually need to get done. So what I wanted to do now is, obviously there were a bunch of questions that came in. So if everybody is clear so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are with me. And again, I really want you guys to, how many of you resonated with the whole wall of resistance aspect of what we went over, that you're allowing your resistance to stop you? So here's the thing, what I would love for all of you is to just end that narrative, end the narrative that I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have this, the I don'ts, they become your identity. But then I'll say this, there's actually a different energy that comes along with that, because here's the conundrum. We want to grow our businesses. We want people to invest in us, right? We want to close clients. We want to close sales. But at the same time, we're not willing to do what we want people to do with us. So we want people to invest in us, but we're not willing to invest in ourselves. So you have to understand there's a misaligned energy there. So is anybody familiar with the aspect, it's called the circulation of money? Does anybody know about that? So the circulation of money has to go out in order to come in. So we need money to circulate. So if we're not investing in the right places, then money's not going to come back to us. It's just like any other investment. And that's what you have to think about. Is my income staying the same? Is it going backwards? Is it slowly, creepily growing? Or am I ready for it to go through the roof? And that's the big thing. You have to break down the walls of resistance. You have to change your narrative, and even just making a small decision, whether it's working directly with me in the group program or the Done For You course, the DIY course. Listen, it's there. Now, some of the questions that came up, I'm going to run through these as quickly as I can if there's time at the end. Let's see. Okay, so Amy wrote, if we're having an event, is it best to do the event through LinkedIn and through Facebook, and then through our own landing page registration, all for one event, since LinkedIn doesn't let you take outside of the site using their registration form? So, I have a event creation strategy, but it really depends on, I would say, the business. You can host a LinkedIn live event. I like people hosting LinkedIn live events right on the platform, because it kind of keeps them there. I usually tell people, if you're going to do something on LinkedIn and that's where your target audience is, make sure it's done there. And then, Mary wrote, what is the difference between the two paths? How can I learn more? So I kind of got into this a little bit earlier. But the two paths, one is a DIY, a do-it-yourself. It's 9 modules that go over every aspect of LinkedIn, the advanced strategies. There's a checklist. You get a bonus content creation course. It takes about 3 hours to go through from start to finish, lifetime access. You have access to a support email, and basically it's a plug and play system. The other path is the done for you, done with you. That's where I'm taking a small group of people, 10 to 15. We're going to be meeting on weekly group coaching calls from June 24th to September 9th, live and recorded. You have access to the DIY course as well. And you have access to the recorded trainings for an additional 3 months. And this is where I will personally help each person SEO optimize their profile, help them personally build their network the right way with the right connections. I will give them custom message templates to use to send to their direct target market. I'll create a specific content creation plan for each person, help them set up and optimize their LinkedIn events, their LinkedIn newsletters, their LinkedIn lives, how to become a LinkedIn top voice. All of those advanced strategies that are broken down in simplistic terms, we do that each and every week together. So where people typically slow down during the summer, we're going to ramp up. We're going to like literally just take things to the moon. Most people kind of like pump the brakes when it comes to the summertime. Again, let's change that narrative. Instead of slowing down, let's speed up. So that's the big difference. I would say the DIY is also best for someone that's in the beginning, early stages of their business, that is not ready for, another sizable or a certain investment. They're on a tighter budget. But the person that for the done for you, done with you, just like, Gary alluded to, they're just ready to go all in. Just like Jane, alluded to, they're ready to go all in. They don't want to figure it out themselves. They want to have an expert kind of directing them and their personal business every step of the way. I would say that's the big difference. For a new freelancer trying to grow a business on the side, do you recommend investing in the paid LinkedIn membership, get the bell, etc.? I've just started my business and I'm trying to be careful with spending before income for the business. So I would not recommend the paid version of LinkedIn. Yeah, and Jane says one client will pay for the done for you program. Exactly. That's where you want to focus on that ROI. If you haven't squeezed the juice out of the free version, don't use the paid version. The LinkedIn bell, every account gets that, the free and the paid. So you don't have to pay LinkedIn to get the LinkedIn notification bell. That's already there. So you don't have to worry about that. Carissa asked if my ideal demographic are professional working mothers. I'm not questioning how to search for them. I am questioning how to search for them. I try the word mother or mom, but that's not likely the people will include in their descriptions. Exactly. So if your ideal target market is moms, you have to do a search per professional or industry title and then connect with people that are women. Because again, you're not going to really know if they're moms or not, but the only way to find out is if you connect with them and, start conversations from there. Dana asked, what does follow or connect mean? So connect means that you're connecting with the person. Follow means you're just following their profile. So you're not actually connected. You're just following them. Let's see. Mary Beth went to my network, but didn't see the grow button in the right-hand corner. Also, I don't know how many people I connected with. So if you're not seeing the grow aspect of the my network area, then it's certain people have it, some people don't. You just have to scroll down and you'll see your suggested connections there. If you go to the manage connections, everyone accounts may look different. So I would also say if you haven't updated your browser, or you may have to log out of LinkedIn and log back in, that would obviously allow you to then maybe update it in that way. Abby said, let me see. I left consulting last year to follow my dream and soul's purpose of being a fine art painter. I have a niche around custom abstract art that elevates decor while reflecting and reinforcing people's personal intentions. I have created DIY workshops where people can create small paintings. It seems when I search to broaden my network, I should be using titles and roles as verbiage rather than corporate expansion if I'm looking for business owners or designer new offices. So, I mean, I would say that's a little bit more Instagram-ish. I mean, Nance, if you want to kind of interject, that feels more like of a Instagram type of situation, like more of like the painting and stuff. I don't think that necessarily, that's more of like, I would say, a personal type thing, not so much business related. That's the question was that the person has like a DIY like painting course, and is wondering how to search for people, but I feel like that might be good visibility and best use.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if it's a DIY painting course, what you could use LinkedIn for is power partners,
Yeah.
connecting with other people in the space, who obviously serve similar clients. That would be a really great place to, pick up more leads and clients that way. And then, yeah, maybe having also an additional presence on, Instagram and Facebook as well.
Yeah. Next question was, how do I get my network to show me just Canadians as my business is a national one? If you go into your connections, there's actually filters within your network. And basically, if you just search your connections, and you can actually filter by location, you just choose Canada, and basically it'll filter out and show you all of those people there. If you search for someone who's already a first connection, does that count against one of your searches? Yes, anytime you actually hit the search, that counts. How do I talk about products and a secondary income without putting people off? Products, I don't say are not valuable to share about. I mean, there is definitely a custom routine that someone needs to have. I'm always big into the benefits and education. Instead of mentioning what, the product name or whatever the brand is, talking about the benefits and how it could help people. I would kind of go that route. And as far as like, I don't ever like using the word secondary income, just because that kind of like, that does kind of come off spammy. I would just kind of leave that out, and I would focus on more of the benefits of what you have done to include in your life and your business, and obviously how it could help other people, with that product, or good or service. Let's see. Wilma asked, could you explain what to do with the people that have open to work on their LinkedIn profile? I mean, there's nothing you have to do with them. They're looking for a job. So, if you're hiring people, then, and they kind of fit the role of, the company that you're looking to expand through and with, then obviously you can reach out to them. But people put that little open to work banner because they're looking to get hired. They're looking for a job. The verify on LinkedIn is safe. I hesitate because I experienced recent scam. Yeah, it's completely safe. I completely recommend doing that. It's a third-party company that LinkedIn partnered with to make sure that, because a lot of accounts started to get hacked and duplicated, just like Facebook and Instagram. So when you have a verification through this third-party company that LinkedIn partnered with, it completely protects your account. So I would 100% do that. Let's see. What if you have not completed a college degree? How do you recommend completing this section without dates? Add your university and just leave out the months and dates. Again, you don't have to put that you graduated. You can just put where you attended. So there doesn't have to be any dates necessarily correlated to it. What if you have 50 skills that may not be relevant today, but you have received endorsements for the past? should I remove them? No, the skills area of LinkedIn has actually become pretty devalued lately. Not many people look at them as much. People care more about the recommendations that you gather than the actual skills. So, and LinkedIn only shows the first 3 skills. So just make sure that what you have visible are the first 3 skills of what you're looking to do. How can someone in business to consumer use LinkedIn? I can't search for parents of high school students on LinkedIn, which is my target market. I mean, again, LinkedIn is one of the best places for B2C. So it's thinking about from the consumer standpoint. Obviously, you can't search for high school students, parents, that whatever. You have to think about the clients that you're currently working with, what they do for a profession, and who's most likely to invest, obviously, because it's not the kid that's going to be investing in what you're offering. It's going to be the parents. So it's filling your network up with a ton of business professionals. So when they start seeing your content that's directed towards how you can help their kids, if they have them, then you can start to have those conversations. So you're going to want to leverage more, I would say, of a power partner aspect, but education through your content aspect. And again, I've worked with a ton of B2C clients along the lines of what this person asked. So whether that's the DIY course or the done for you, done with you, which I think would be more beneficial in this case, I can create a whole custom plan for you. So Jackie asked, please talk about the logistics of tracking connections. Trying to enter it all into a spreadsheet is a tedious time. I sent 18 connections, 10 acceptances, 5 messages. If I do that every day, I feel like I'm going to be buried immediately and spending too much time tracking. Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to track every single connection that you send. You know, again, if you're using a CRM, which Nancy and I use, obviously you can kind of import them there. We always recommend that. A CRM is like really, really important to use. But again, you're part of what I teach in the deeper programs is you're so forward thinking as far as what you're doing. You're so in action. You're really only focusing on a customer relationship management tool. That's what a CRM is. So it's how you can manage your contacts and everything. So basically, you really want to focus on the people that are responding to your messages and those that are booking calls. Those are the ones that you want to track. You don't want to track the ones that you're just sending connections they're not accepting. So you really want to just really track the people that you are building those relationships with. I sent my first 5 messages to a new connection with the CTA. What do I do if they respond with just thanks for connecting? You're welcome. I mean, that's really it. You know, if they say thanks for connecting, you say you're welcome. You know, glad to be connected too. So you don't have to push it any further than that. I always go off of what people say. Any advice on how to handle a caregiver stint that took me out of the workplace for several months? I mean, that can be added as either volunteer experience or even an experience. So, you know, again, people that are in nonprofit work, you know, they add those types of things all the time. So you can still have that as an experience, even though it was more of a volunteer type situation. So you can add that in the experience section, but you can also add it in the volunteer experience as well. I have almost 6,000 legacy connections that may not be my ideal avatar or my people. Do you recommend that I purge old or irrelevant connections? So you're allowed 30,000 connections. This was a question from Gary. You know, the fact of the matter is that you still have 24,000 potential connections. So everything that you do on LinkedIn is predicated on the network that you have. So even though some of those connections that you may have, Gary, may not be ideal, there could be people within their network that could be ideal. So when you're searching, it kind of pulls from there. So I would just leave all of them as is for now, so you can completely build on top of them. And then I'm gonna got time for one more final question. How do I know that LinkedIn is the right platform for me? Great question. So, how many of you? I don't think it's a difficult question to answer, but drop a Y or a yes if business professionals, business types are your ideal clients to connect with. All right, so that's how you know LinkedIn is your platform. So that's kind of a simple answer. So if business professionals are your ideal client target market, then again, that's where you're going to want to spend your time. So just as a reminder, If you're unclear about, what you want your next step to be, whether it's the DIY do-it-yourself course, or working directly with me in the group coaching done for you, done with you program, drop a, get on my calendar. Let's have a conversation. I can basically, direct you to exactly where you need to be and be honest of what's going to be the best fit. And again, if you do want to just jump right in, because again, all of the bonuses and everything else, go away on Monday. Jump into the DIY course or grab your spot in my group program like Gary did yesterday. And again, I don't want you guys to continue to throw spaghetti at the wall anymore. Because the fact of the matter is that if you've been to multiple of these trainings and you're still in the same place, chances are you're still not taking the right action. And again, just to kind of finish, we went over some of the very basic foundational things. And if someone is ready to really, have a sales process in place, have a lead generation process in place, and have the support of me, whether it is the DIY course or the group coaching program, you got my 100% support. And I always say this, you are guaranteed to get results. People ask me that all the time. What's my guarantee? If you follow my system to a T, the way that I teach it, whether it is in the course or whether it's in the group coaching, you are guaranteed results. If you're not getting those results, you're probably not following my strategy. And the honest to God truth, and I said this a little bit earlier, every single one of you could leave Facebook and Instagram today and go all in with LinkedIn, and your business would go through the roof. Those other platforms they're distractions. And the other thing is that if you are truly sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you really want to see momentum in your business, and you don't want to wait for success to happen, you want to create it together. That's what I'm here for. So, again, I just wanted to thank everybody for having, obviously, the time, the energy, and the effort to spend some time with me this week. I do have the final two homework winners to announce. And again, I do have some time left on my calendar. If anybody, again, once the replays are gone, and this is the only LinkedIn workshop that I'm doing this year. So this is it. Once the replays are gone, they're gone. But the benefit is if you jump into the group coaching program or the DIY course, you got the keys to the castle. This is just the beginning. And what I can tell you is that if you're ready for more, I can provide it. And I want to see every one of you succeed. I don't want to see people flailing. So the two winners of the homework, Jackie Newman and Inga Hoffman. So congratulations to the two homework winners. Again, I just want to let you guys know, so this is the final LinkedIn workshop that I'm doing this year. Once the replays are down, they are down. And again, lower that wall of resistance, raise that level of connection, change the narrative, right? Change the narrative that I do have the time, I do have the money, I see the ROI in this, and I'm going to invest in myself. So everyone, again, you can grab a spot on my calendar. You can get right into the DIY course right away and put this into action. So again, if you're looking for more lead gen strategy, if you want to have consistent leads, consistent sales, have a deeper sense of what you specifically need to be doing on LinkedIn, I got your back. So again, let's thank Christy for being such a great co-host with me all this week. She could have been anywhere, but she was here with all of you guys. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed the workshop. Love and gratitude, and I'll talk